If you have a sales team, the quickest way to improve performance is to watch the recordings of your salespeople and then use those recordings to analyze their calls and then provide some feedback. But that can be a very painful process, especially if you have many salespeople. So here is a workflow that you can use that leverages a combination of note taker, some AI prompt, and Slack to make this process as easy as possible. Let's check it out. So the first step is to get started with Fathom. So what Fathom does is it's basically an AI tool that will show up in your meetings and would record the calls and can also record the transcript as well. So really, really powerful tool. So you want to sign up for this tool. And I already have an account, so I'm just going to sign into my account here. And I'm just going to log in. And when you log in, what happens is that Fathom shows you all of the calls that you've been making, and you can see all of the recordings there as well. So, for example, here are all the calls that I've been making myself personally, and all the recordings. And for my team, my sales team, here are all the calls they've been making as well. So this gives me all of that visibility. So once you set this up here, you want to start making all your calls. And what we want to do here is we want to set up an automation such that anytime I finish a call, and I'm just going to show you what a call looks like. So here's an example of a call I had with one of my team members. And you can see here we have all the summary of the calls and the transcripts from the calls, and we have all of the information on the calls. So really, really powerful stuff. So what we want to do now is we want to make sure that we want to set up an automation such that anytime I finish one of those calls, I can have all of the summary, all of that packaged in a way that I can then easily be able to digest it. So we'll go to Zapier. And Zapier is also another tool that allows us to connect various tools on the internet that are not interrelated together. Zapier allows us to connect them very easily. So in this scenario here, I'm going to create a new Zap. That's what we'll call it. So I'm going to create a new Zap. And in this new Zap, I'm going to start off by having a trigger for Fathom. So I'm gonna, as you can see here, we have over 7,000 different types of apps that we can use. So tons of apps we can use. In this case, I'm gonna type on Fathom. So click on that. And then my first instruction. So if you've not used Fathom before in Zapier, you will have to like sign in and connect your account. But I've already signed and connect my account here already, so I don't have to do that again. But you have to do that. But my first event will be that anytime a new AI summary is generated. So it's very important that we use AI summary because if we use transcripts are extremely long, and sometimes it's very difficult for the AI to take everything in one chunk. So that's why we use the AI summary, which is what Fathom does for us. So whenever we have a new AI summary, that's what triggers this whole workflow. Uh, and then we're going to also choose what types of meetings. So if we go on Fathom here, you will see that there are various types of meetings. So there's my own personal meetings, and then there's team calls. In this case here, we're going to use my own personal meetings. And then I'm going to continue. And then it's going to have us test the trigger to make sure that everything is working correctly. So I'm going to test the trigger here, and this should give us a positive result of a sample recording. Here you go. So here's a sample recording, which shows, this is working correctly. And once I'm fine with this, I can then continue with the selected recording. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to connect this to ChatGPT, right? So I'm going to go open AI, and once I connect it to OpenAI, again, if you've not set up an OpenAI account, you definitely want to do that. And in case this is the first time you're doing it, you will actually need to set up your OpenAI account such that you can create an API key. So you need to go to openai.com to create the API key. And once you've done that, you can then register and connect it in here. And then the next thing to do is to then use the send prompt function. So there are a lot of things we can do, but we want to send prompts. So basically, we want to take the data from Fathom, we want to combine that with a prompt to ChatGPT for processing and then get some sort of output. So in this case, I'm going to go send prompt, and then I will continue. And then I'm going to continue as well. So we're going to choose the model we want. So I prefer so there are lots of models we can choose, but I like the 3.5 turbo instruct, so that is very much fine. Now, this is where we provide a specific prompt on what we want ChatGPT to output for us, right? So in this case, I've already saved some instructions here, so I'm just gonna open that up here. And in this prompt, I'm saying, please analyze the following AI summary transcript from a recorded call and provide a detailed summary that includes the following: who was the call conducted by? So identify the outreach news team member who led or conducted the meeting and the date, who was the meeting with, right? And what type of meeting was it, and what was the summary of the meeting, and the key points that was discussed, as well as provide a recorded shared, so the URL, so that anyone else can access the actual recording. So I want the AI to provide that. And then I'm also then definitely going to provide some additional context here. So, for example, the recording share URL will be somewhere here. So this would be some of the data points that I'm getting from Fathom. So here's a recording right there. And then I'm going to then say, here is the transcript. Here's some additional information about the call. So this is where I will actually then provide the AI summary transcript. So the AI summary should be somewhere here. So AI summary, so I can look at more to find all the information I need. So it will be AI. So it will be this one here. There you go. So that's AI summary transcript. And then I'm also going to add some additional information here as well. So it'll be the meeting scheduled time. So that was when the meeting started. So I can just go in here and we can see in here the meeting started times. Here it is. So the meeting schedule start time. So that's another information I want to provide. And then meeting invitees name. So the person who was on the call with me or whoever it is that made the call. So I want to find the meeting. So it's called the meeting invitees name. There you go. And then the other thing I want to provide is the meeting invitees email, if we have that information. There you are. And then, so I basically want to provide any additional information I have about the call here. Okay, so now that is all done, the next thing is to then set a temperature. So usually you can just leave it at 0.7. What temperature really means is how creative do you want the AI to be. So if it's at 0, then it's not creative at all. And if it's at 1.0, it's extremely creative. So 0.7 is quite nice. Maximum length, I won't worry about that. I will just leave everything else as it is right now. And then I'll continue. And then you can then test the step. So testing the step means that we're going to send some sample prompts to ChatGPT and have it process and give us an example of what the data will look like. So there you go. So conducted, the meeting was led by Chris from the Outreach News team on August 19, and this was held with David. And then you have all this additional information about the meeting, and that's pretty much what we want. So we can then publish that. But before we finish publishing it, we want this information to go somewhere else. And what we want it to go is we want it to go into a Slack channel. So the Slack channel is basically where we will see every day all the meetings that were held around on the team and the summary of the meetings. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another step here. And in this step, we're going to include Slack. So we're going to go Slack here. And again, if you've not connected your Slack accounts to the Zapier system, you have to connect your Slack accounts. And here we're going to choose a event, which is send this information to a private channel. So send private channel message. And we're going to then continue. And we're going to choose an account. So here's an account that I've already registered. If you don't have an account, you have to register for it. And in this scenario here, we're going to choose a channel. So I have a channel already called, it's called Fathom. So Fathom Recordings Daily Updates, and we already have the channel. And in this scenario here, we're going to provide the context of the information that the channel will contain. So we can go at channel. A new meeting has been concluded. And all we're going to provide it is the result from the prompt. So it would be the prompt response. So the prompt response is right here. And that's pretty much it. And we should be good to go here. And then we want to send it as a bot, yes. And then we want to give it a bot, the bot a name. So in this case, I'm just going to go AGAI call bot. And then we're going to have an icon as well. I always like the greening icon. And then we can say no links, no links. And then we don't have to attach an image. We can say this to be no. We don't want it to auto expand. And then that should be good to go. Yeah, and then we can continue this. And then we can send a test. So we can test a step. And I'm just going to open up my Slack here and show you what this looks like once the test has been sent. So if I open my Slack here and I show you the actual Slack channel, which in this case would be Fathom recording. So as you can see here, here is the result of that Fathom channel. So a new meeting has been conducted. The meeting was led by Chris from our Genius team, and then you have all of the summary. And again, this is a previous example as well. So this is pretty much how this works. So you can have this automated such that anytime any member of your team finishes a sales call based on the Fathom recording, you have all of the information, piped through Zapier into ChatGPT with some prompting, and then into Slack, and then there you have it. All right, that's it.